Welcome to the Echo Tips podcast.
Voila!
Here's a sneak peek into what we're going to cover in this week's episode of the Echo Tips podcast.
Yes, you're right. Google has announced a new event for October 1st, 2025. They'll be debuting new smart home devices with Gemini integration on that date.
Well, hello, and welcome to the Echo Tips podcast. I'm your host, David Ward. It's good to have you returning listeners and you new listeners as well. This week, we're going to step aside from our typical, we'll talk about in the abstract, A-Lady Plus, that is the beta with AI infused A-Lady. But this week, we're going to be talking about some announcements recently from Google about an upcoming October event. And I caught that in the Daily Tech News headlines this week with Tom Merritt. And so I'm going to share that little clip with you guys today and maybe talk to our A-Lady about it too and pontificate a little bit about Gemini, which is the AI infused into the voice assistant that is a direct competitor to the A-Lady. That is the line of, let me make sure I get the name right, Google Nest devices, or things like the Nest Mini, the Nest Audio. I think there used to be a Nest Hub with a screen and different devices like that. But before we delve into that content in any sort of great detail, I'd like to first say welcome to our new listeners who are wondering what this show is all about. It's good to have you guys with us. Welcome to the Echo Tips podcast. As I said earlier, my name is David Ward. I am the host of the show and have been the host of the show for the past we're now in our 8th season, so all the back catalog of over 360 some episodes where we talk about all things A-Lady related and other types of voice assistants, smart assistants, to kind of keep us informed how this technology is advancing. So in our back catalog, especially you new listeners, if you're trying to troubleshoot a particular problem, I'll mention a website where we have our back catalog easily accessible, but where you can basically maybe find out about home automation. You could find out about game skills, media playback, music groups, so you can, play music throughout your house all simultaneously, using them like intercoms, using them with seniors, different accessibility features for those with disabilities. Very powerful device in that community. So we talk about all of that in our back catalog. And my background is I'm an assistive technology instructor and a general purpose IT trainer as well. Okay, so we're going to delve into our core topic here about information connected with Gemini AI coming to Google's voice assistant, what that means potentially for the A-Lady, which presently has A-Lady Plus. And for you new listeners, I say A-Lady just not to trigger anybody's Echo devices at home. I'm really referring to Alexa. And so, anywho, we're going to talk about what that means. What's the implications of that? Who is ahead of whom? And what are my thoughts on that? And what are my experiences, perhaps, with Gemini AI on my Google Nest Mini sitting here right on the studio desk in front of me? Well, we're going to take a brief break, and we'll be back with that topic. All right. Well, welcome back, guys. So as I said, we got information today, this week, on from the Daily Tech News Show, in particular the DTNS briefing. I forget, he has two different types of daily shows. It's a little confusing. There's the live show, which you can find on YouTube, and then there's the more slightly higher produced Daily Tech News briefing. The formats are slightly different, where the briefing kind of has some longer form content, sometimes wedged at the beginning, sometimes towards the end, and then kind of has the briefing component somewhere usually in the middle. I prefer it when it's at the beginning, but hey, you can, whatever. Tom can do whatever he wants. Tom is very good at what he does, and I have been listening to Tom for years. So we're going to play in that here in just a second. And in fact, is there much prelude to that? Well, no, I do need to give you a little background. So, there is a big technology conference here in the United States every year called CES, which I think in the old days, the acronym used to stand for Computer Electronics Show, but I think they just say it stands for CES now. It doesn't mean anything, but anyway. But in Europe, in the EU, there is a similar, if not bigger, conference where a lot of announcements are made as well. I think this past week from Samsung and Google and others, and it's called IFA. And so that takes place. And so that's where this announcement from Google came. And so let's go to that segment now. This is episode 5096 if you want to listen to the full episode, or if you listen to the live edition, you may get more additional content because that's a little bit of a longer format chat with a larger panel, while the briefing is only just Tom usually and somebody else, or just two individuals at a time. But we're going to go to that episode, this little clip about Gemini coming to the Nest Mini.
Yeah. Google also announced an event for October 1st with the words, Gemini is coming to Google Home.
What does it mean?
And a picture of what looks like a Nest Cam. So Google announced last month that Gemini for Home would replace Google Assistant. I would assume we're going to get more of an update on that. And I don't know, maybe new products as well.
Yeah, probably. This is one of the least subtle invites. You know, it's like, what could they? Oh, I know exactly.
Gemini is coming to Google Home, Tom. That's what it means.
But what does it mean?
Is there AI involved?
And what about Google Home?
Okay, guys, so there you go. Pretty plain spoken event that they said's coming in October. Didn't really hide the punchline there about what it's all about. I went over to my Google Nest Mini, which I have here, that I specifically bought with the idea of being able to use with Gemini AI, and I asked it about this event, and it, of course, is still in stupid mode, so it could not seem to answer it. I do not have access to the Gemini AI, even though ever since I've had it plugged in, I have been in the preview program with Google and the Home app. I keep updating the app. I've queried many times about how to get into the Gemini AI. I've pretty much come down to reading some Reddit articles and some other articles that basically say you're not going to get into the Gemini AI beta for the Nest Mini unless you are also a paying member, I think, of their video security service backup. So they have Nest video cameras, which you might think are a competitor to things like the Ring video doorbell from Amazon or the Blink cameras. Amazon has that home automation suite, and they have their own thing. And if you are subscribed to that, or perhaps some sort of other similar services from Google, then you will be spritzed with the holy water and the pixie dust, and you can now enter in the preview program into this Gemini infused Nest Mini or Nest audio devices and voice assistants. So I am in the preview program, and theoretically I am running the beta software on my device, but I just did not get the switch option to flip that feature on, and it may be because of a cost or burden. That notwithstanding, my A-Lady device is, as you guys well know, on A-Lady Plus, and so I can talk to him or her and get feedback. In fact, I'm going to use the COMPUTER wake word, so if you have an echo and hearing distance in my voice, you may want to mute its ears. But I'll just ask about this same event we just heard about. Computer, tell me about the Google event that's going on in October. See if you can find something.
Google I/O 2025 happened on May 20th to 21st, 2025. It featured announcements about Gemini AI, Android XR smart glasses, and other new Google products and services.
Computer?
There's no current...
No, isn't there a Google event coming up in October? Let's see if
Yes, you're right. Google has announced a new event for October 1st, 2025. They'll be debuting new smart home devices with Gemini integration on that date.
So he didn't have a lot to say either. So what is my armchair dime store little 10-cent, viewpoint of this? Well, I don't know. I think it's going to be a challenge for Google. Maybe they've just been waiting for Amazon to push it out first and take that first plunge. I don't know. I did go and double check my numbers, though, in an interview with Panos Panay and actually a statement he made on LinkedIn 2 months ago. He clearly said that over 1 million people are in the a program with the A-Lady Plus. And I believe that's pretty much localized to the United States. I don't know. They might allow some people outside the United States, but probably English-speaking countries. And so, I don't know. I think 1 million people, that's a lot of people. I feel like Amazon's really got maybe a leg up on Google in this arena because, I mean, they just have such a huge base with the A-Lady devices. So I think it's distinctly possible that they're going to hit the ground running. At this point, I mean, if you were to ask me what is a limitation, I mean, I did just do that episode last week about bugs in the A-Lady Plus, but you guys might recall that the big limitation I was running into for the longest time was the inability to control certain home devices, home automation devices, such as my microwave, things that you might naturally consider potentially, that they were really wanting to flush out all the problems, all the difficulties before they started having to control your microwave or something that could cause, a fire or something like that. And now I can. And so I could literally say, I don't know of anything I can't do with my A-Lady Plus that I can or could have done with the A-Lady, the old A-Lady, the classic A-Lady. And so, I feel like they've really worked out a lot of the kinks. That's not to say it's, there's a matter of scale here and you cross over into other language groups. But, my question is all the barriers to me trying to get into the Gemini beta on my Nest Hub, my Nest Mini here, which is like a little donut-shaped device sitting here on my on my desk. I don't really feel like, and then you add on top maybe that video requirement or having a subscription to get access. I don't think there's any chance Google has had that big of a beta tester group. So I don't know. I mean, they could announce something in October, but it may be just a wider beta rollout. Although, I mean, it's been in beta for a while now, so I think if you're going to have an announcement, you pretty much got to say you're putting it out to the public. Now, all of that having been said, I do have this one caveat. Google, of course, obviously has been allowing Gemini access in a voice prompting, voice command, voice assistant mode on Android devices. Not on universal, because Android devices are real, all over the map. I don't know if heterogeneous is the right word, but they're a mix. So, people may go, Gemini's on Android. Well, it is if you got a Pixel or you have a specific Samsung or, you see what I'm saying. But nonetheless, Android is a huge market space. So even if it was like maybe, a fraction of a percent of the overall Android market, it could outpace the 1 million plus that A-Lady current beta testers are in. So in other words, and you'll get very diverse environment sounds from that versus maybe a home environment like typically an appliance like an A-Lady or a Nest Mini is in. And because, phones are out on the road, there's wind, there's background noise. There's varieties of languages and accents. Like I said, they have a huge base. So there's a possibility if that kind of troubleshooting and information is feeding back into Google and it's influencing the future of the voice assistant that they're going to announce in October, well, then that may give them comparable and maybe even superior beta testing, but it's really hard to say. So I would like to reach out to our listeners, though. Anybody that is currently in the Gemini beta and has access to that on their voice assistant, not on your telephone. A lot of people can do it on their telephone. But on an actual Nest device, a Nest Mini or a Nest whatever audio or one of the Nest devices, I would love to hear from you, and you can send us an email at ecotipspodcast@CERT, Dr. DOCTOR.com. And I would love to hear your correspondence. Maybe even I can get an audio clip from you of what it sounds like or something like that. Obviously on YouTube and the like, I've seen some examples. I would say the one thing that stands out that's a little different, and I wanted to demo to you guys if I ever got access, is it has this special tone, at least it has up until now, where it's like going from standard voice assistant mode, think A-Lady Classic, into this new Gemini infused AI Google Assistant. And so that kind of gives you an extra, I don't know, earmarking to know that, this is going into AI land, maybe the response, and it may not be dependable. I don't know. I don't know what the implications of that are. It's a little bit of more of a mix versus while I turned A-Lady Plus on, the beta that is, it's on instantly everywhere, and I've never exited because I'm too paranoid. But theoretically, you can exit it. There's no temporary way to jump back to the classic though that I know of, and then just for a one-off. And like I said, there's no reason I can think of that I would need to. At this point, there isn't anything that I think of that I can't do on my A-Lady Plus that I could do on the A-Lady Classic. So anyway, so there's just a few ideas, a little food for thought. I'd love to hear your guys' feedback. And for those of you who, once again, are trying to find a back catalog of information or solve a particular problem, that same domain name contains my personal blog, certdoctor.com. Click on blog, and you should find a posting for A-Lady catalog of over 300 some episodes, and you can go back and check out our back catalog. But until next time, we thank you for listening.